Tonight, firefighters are battling to save homes from two raging fires burning in Orange County. Our crew is there on the scene.
And breaking down the race for the 50th Congressional District as one candidate inches ahead with 1 week to go.
I feel great and blessed to be a citizen of this country.
And a young Iraqi woman casts her first ballot in the U.S. election, now having the freedom of choice.
ABC 10 News at 6 starts now.
The Blue Ridge fire is one of two fires raging in Orange County. And right now, more than 15,000 acres have burned with 0% containment. Good evening. I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. Our ABC 10 News reporter Leah Pizzetti has been speaking to evacuated residents all day and shows us what the impacted areas look like tonight.
Residents in this Chino Hills neighborhood are under mandatory evacuations right now. You can see behind this hill, the flames are here. Residents say that they have seen this before. They have had fires come this close to their area, but we're watching helicopters come through and do drops. They are working their hardest to protect these homes right now. There's a helicopter right there, you can see, doing a drop as we speak. So once again, this area is under mandatory evacuations. We're talking to residents who say they are evacuating to be safe. It is mandatory, as we said, but this is nothing new for them. They have been here before in this Chino Hills neighborhood. Now this is the Blue Ridge fire where we are right now. This is the second fire to break out in Orange County. Both Silverado and Blue Ridge started Monday. Now this is Tuesday, and you can see just how close the fire is coming to these homes. It is working its way down this hill over here, those flames threatening these homes. But like I said, people here say they are confident that their homes will still be standing. Many people have not even evacuated yet. There are still people out and about waiting, saying they're going to see just how close it gets to this area before deciding if and when to evacuate here in Chino Hills. Leah Pizzetti, ABC 10 News.
Now, near the Blue Ridge fire, where Leah was, is a second massive blaze. More than 90,000 people remain under evacuation orders tonight as the Silverado fire burns just east of Irvine. The latest update from Orange County has the fire burning more than 12,000 acres and just 5% contained. That's where two firefighters suffered second and third degree burns yesterday. They remain in the hospital tonight in critical condition. Crews were able to gain some ground on that fire today. Right now, SoCal Edison is looking into whether its equipment played a part in how the fire started.
And turning now to our weather meteorologist, Angelica Campos, is tracking these Santa Ana conditions. Angelica?
Hi, Kim. Yes, it's been very windy, and I wanted to show you the watches and warnings. Everything just expired at the top of the hour, and we're expecting the winds to subside in areas like Orange County and the LA area, and also in the San Bernardino Mountains, where we've seen some of the strongest winds. Now, talking about our region and our county, it is very dry. The St. Anne winds have done a number across the state, just really drying out and getting rid of any moisture we had available. What that means is basically if there was a fire, it would make it easier for it to spread. And then you add the winds on top of that, and that's why it's so problematic and so dangerous. Thankfully, tonight, the winds are only averaging at 11 miles per hour in Julian, 16 in Alpine, looking at some of the strongest around the county. We do expect the winds to ramp up again on Thursday. And coming up in our 7-day forecast, I'll show you how much stronger the winds will be and which areas will be impacted.
And keep track of the weather conditions in your area anytime with our ABC 10 News mobile app. You can download it for free in the App Store.
Most students in San Diego's largest school district will not be returning to in-person learning this year. San Diego Unified announced today that it is hoping to start bringing kids back on campus in January. Our ABC 10 News reporter Rachel Bianco is in University Heights, where parents blasted the district for not doing more sooner.
A few dozen parents gathered in front of the district offices to have their voices heard. They say school is essential and the kids need to be back in class.
We want choice. Open our schools! Open our schools!
These parents say San Diego Unified should have had a plan to bring kids back to class long before the start of the school year.
They kept us on the hook, they kept us enrolled so they could keep their funding, and they're currently just balancing their budget while keeping the doors closed.
Tuesday afternoon, school board and district leaders announced new details about when more students might return to campus. The goal is to bring back elementary students January 4th after winter break. Middle and high school students would return January 25th. Whether it actually happens depends on the virus spread in the community.
We know that once the county moves into the purple tier, we can continue with our phase 1 approach. But what we cannot do is move then to phase 2 and the subsequent phases.
Phase 2 would bring pre-K to 5th grade back to campus 4 days a week. They'd be split up into an AM or PM session. Fridays would be online. Middle and high school kids would be on campus 2 days a week, also split into 2 sessions. Also online on Fridays.
We're very disappointed that they're postponing while other school districts are working so hard to return kids to school.
The district says its goal is to test anyone who comes on campus every few weeks.
There's risk in reopening schools, there's risk in reopening businesses, there's risk everywhere, but there's also a lot of risk on the other side of not reopening.
Families can still opt to stay in distance learning. Rachel Bianco, ABC 10 News.
The district says during phase 1 of reopening, some 4,000 in-person appointments have been made at more than 100 schools with no COVID outbreaks.
San Diego County will remain in the red tier for another week. Our coronavirus numbers improved just enough for us to avoid the most restrictive purple tier of the state's coronavirus monitoring system. Our adjusted case rate stands at 6.5. It's new daily cases per 100,000 people. Today, the county reported 269 new COVID cases, bringing our total to 55,210. 7 more deaths were reported. In total, 877 San Diegans have died from the virus. And happening now, the Vista Unified School District is having a special board meeting after several COVID-19 cases were confirmed at 3 different schools. The meeting got underway at the top of the hour. Just yesterday, the district confirmed 4 students tested positive within the past week. According to the district, it involves students from elementary to high school. Tonight, the board will discuss any necessary revisions to its reopening plan.
Joining us now to discuss the race for the 50th district is Dr. Kira Green with the Center on Policy Initiatives. Dr. Green, first of all, let's take a look at this race and see where the candidates are. The 2 candidates had been neck and neck for months, but our new ABC 10 News Union Tribune poll shows 51% of voters choosing Republican candidate Darrell Issa, and 40% now choose Democratic candidate Amar Campanajjar. 9% are undecided. So, Dr. Green, the question I have for you is, what do you think has changed over the last few weeks in this race?
One of the biggest changes over the last few weeks is that we've gotten to the heart of election time, and voters are getting mailers and ads that are giving them information about these candidates that they wouldn't have had before. And so we're seeing that change in opinion that comes as voters get bombarded with campaign information.
So they're not just getting the mailers, they're getting ads, as you mentioned. In fact, we did a story at 5 o'clock about the effectiveness of negative ads. To say this race is negative from both sides, that would be an understatement. How much have those ads changed this race?
I think they've changed this race a great deal. And they, as they tend to do, they've hurt the newcomer more than the incumbent, because voters know who Darrell Issa is, and so they know the negative hits against him. These against Campanajjar have been effective, and they've helped move this race so that he went from having a 14-point advantage or 13-point advantage in September to being 14 points behind today. So that voters are learning through these ads about Campanajjar and making them.
And that newcomer is a Democrat. This has been a Republican-held district for decades. Are you surprised, though, to see that Joe Biden trails President Trump in this same poll by just 4 points in this district?
You know, if you'd asked me after the 2016 election, I would have been surprised by these numbers because President Trump won this district handily by 15 points. But what we're seeing across the board here is that voters are motivated and mostly motivated against President Trump. He's, moving pretty negatively. And I think that matters a lot in this race. You can see that people are getting out early to vote. 30% of voters have already voted. Over 80% plan to vote by mail or some other way. But we're seeing that across the country, that there's real motivation of the base to the left and those wobbly folks in the middle and to the right moving towards Democratic candidates, especially Joe Biden.
That district does appear to be wobbling a bit. Dr. Kira Green, thank you for your time.